Well, we're here in mini camp. I know you can't really judge a lot. It's tough for anybody to see a lot early on. But what are your initial impressions of the Falcons, particularly on defense, where there's a lot of holes that need to be addressed?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see a little more here. Last weekend I was in Tampa, and they were just having the rookie mini camp. And you weren't able to tell an awful lot because they had a lot of undrafted guys in there and everything. But the Falcons, with the full squad here, you can see some changes perhaps on the depth chart. You can see who's running one on the new spots in defense where they had so many changes. So you can see guys like Stephen Nicholas getting first team work, and you can tell a little bit more than you can at most training camps. So it's good, and they're looking sharp out there. They're picking up where they left off last year. So I think it's encouraging.
And you talk a little bit about the NFC South in general and the Bucs rookie mini camp. Let's give fans a quick thought before we get back to the Falcons about what's going on around the NFC South right now.
Well, we got a lot of things going on. The New Orleans Saints are having their rookie mini camp this weekend, and they lost linebacker Stanley Arnaud, their fourth-round draft pick, ruptured his Achilles tendon yesterday, and he's going to be out for the season. He's a guy that they had high hopes for, so that's going to be a very difficult loss for them. Tampa Bay, the big story, obviously, Josh Freeman, the quarterback. Everyone's comparing that situation to Matt Ryan last year here, wondering if he's going to start right away or not. And the Buccaneers at this point don't know, much like the Falcons didn't know last year. They let the process play out, and Matt proved himself in training camp, and they went ahead and started him. If Josh can do the same, they'll start him. If not, they'll sit him and let Luke McCown play for a while. Carolina, not a lot of change there this offseason, but the situation with Julius Peppers still a little bit unsettled. There still may be some movement with him this offseason. It's possible they could trade him, but at the moment, Carolina's returning 21 of 22 starters from a 12-4 team, so they obviously are pretty well set up, and we'll see how the Peppers situation plays out.
Back to the Falcons defense, that's really been the focus for everyone. But when you break it down into three spots, maybe say defensive line, linebackers, secondary, which is the one that concerns you the most, and where do you think there needs to be maybe a little bit more TLC paid?
That's an excellent question. I would have to say the secondary, just because it's young, and you're going to have either a rookie or a second-year guy starting at safety, and that's a concern. But I think there's an excellent coaching staff here. Obviously the Falcons are blessed to have a guy like Emmett Thomas, a Hall of Fame defensive back, to work with these guys, and I think he'll help bring Thomas DeCoux and William Moore along. The corners are young as well. Chevis Jackson, a guy who showed some promise last year, I think he's going to play a bigger role this year, but it's going to take some time and some coaching, and that's what mini camps and training camps are for.
You've been through a couple practices here watching. Which rookie, Parade Jerry, William Moore, William Middleton, maybe one of these other guys, because the Falcons brought in a lot, which one do you think may be flying under the radar that fans are really going to like?
Well, I don't know how much he's under the radar, but because expectations are high for a second-round pick, but William Moore has looked very good out there. He's very athletic, very physical. I think he's going to be a player, and as I said, he's got some great coaching. It may take a little while for it to blossom, but I think he's going to have a big impact on this secondary.
You and I were talking a little bit during practice about you bring in Tony Gonzalez. This was a good offense to begin with, but you bring in him. What is your just first reaction about what this team can do if everyone stays healthy on offense?
Well, I think it's a great move by the Falcons, especially because it was for a 2010 draft pick, not an immediate draft pick. Tony Gonzalez obviously fills a need. This team did not throw the ball to the tight ends a lot last year. They had plenty of other success on offense, so it wasn't a major weakness or anything like that, but they made themselves better by bringing in a pass-catching tight end, perhaps the best there's ever been, and he's still got some gas left in the tank. So I think he's just going to help everyone on that offense. He's going to make Matt Ryan better. He's going to make the running game better. He's going to open the middle of the field for the other receivers and for the running game with Michael Turner and Jarius Norwood. So I think it's the one missing piece to this offense, and they've got it now.
Well, Pat, before we let you go, what are you working on? What can we see in your blog coming up or on ESPN.com?
Well, I did a Matt Ryan story yesterday. It's still up there. Got a story on the young defense and how they're working to transition that. That's going to be coming in the next couple days. And on Monday, I'll have a story on Jamal Anderson and how he's looking to have a breakout season and prove that he was worth his initial draft status.